Good afternoon, folks. Triple Crown here, coming to you from Vancouver, British Columbia. It is a Friday, and it is time to do a round 9 recap for the Global War 1939 series. Another repositioning round. The Axis are slowly starting to take control of the game. The German economies making 125 with all of their NOs, and the Japanese are making 114. There is a standoff here happening in Cairo. Now, currently, the South Africans were wanting to take a poke at Cairo. They can bring about 8 units to attack next round, and the Italians and the Germans are defending with about 12. And the Italians have a follow-up. So that is not looking good over there. Let's look over here in Calcutta, and the Japanese, who brought all of their naval transports down from Tokyo to Siam last turn, and they're at a naval base, so they went 1, 2, 3, and so they reinforced Calcutta, and the Russians are about a turn too late. They can take a poke at it, but they would be attacking with about 12 or 13 ground units, including air. And the Japanese and the Italians are defending with about 17. So that is advantage Japan there. So what are the Allies going to do? Well, I think they are going to finally have to take a run and capture either Paris, or take a run and try and capture Rome. They're currently sitting on this stack over here. There is the British and the Canadians can attack with 22 armor and about 30 other ground units, followed up by the Americans. They have 10 armor and about 40 ground units. So whichever direction they decide to go, they have to now go, because they want to whittle away at the Italian and the German economy, which is just growing and growing. And currently in the Axis minor territories, the Germans are just reinforcing turn every turn. They're bringing in another almost 10 units next turn. These units here, this is currently what's sitting in northern Italy. So that's about an ugly stack of about, I don't even know, well over 30 units defending Turin. There's currently, and maybe this is why the Allies need to attack Paris, is because the Germans drove almost 10 armor down to reinforce Paris. So that is not an easy target, but I think they need to take those 10 armor out that are currently sitting in Paris. So not quite sure. We'll decide. The Americans and the British will be landing another 10 ground units next turn from eastern United States and from London. Over here off of the coast of Australia, the Japanese moved their fleet down, and they moved it there specifically with some loaded transports, and that is because they were sitting at New Guinea at a naval base, and that allowed the Australians to keep building with the New Zealanders in New Zealand and be out of range. So if they're sitting here, they can attack whatever New Zealand or Australia puts in the water, so their fleet is running away. However, it could go could escape Western Australia and come up and maybe take a poke at some of these money islands. They only have one naval transport, so not really a big threat, more of a nuisance. So we'll see what happens there. A little game of cat and mouse happening. And the Americans built a couple of cruisers off the coast of San Francisco, and the Japanese built an aircraft carrier, a couple destroyers, and a couple submarines. America still has naval superiority. However, they only have one naval transport to go and take back Hawaii, and Hawaii is well defended with 5 aircraft and about 7 or 8 ground units. So Japanese are doing a good job there. Over here in China, the KMT is starting to back up. The CCT took one on the chin last turn, and also so did the Russians on the eastern Siberia region. So that is not looking good for the KMT as they slowly start to back away, and Japan slowly starts to creep inland. And over here in Novosibirsk, we are anticipating the Germans to attack with about 20 ground units next turn, and the Russians are defending with about 15 or 16. So that is going to be a major battle there. Don't know who's going to win. I predict the Germans, but you never know. Sometimes you're better on defense than you are on offense. So we'll see what happens there. And more sideshow happening. I forgot to mention over here, the Argentinian Navy is sitting off the coast of Mexico and Panama. So the Americans didn't like that. So they built a couple submarines last turn in a destroyer. And the Russians also brought back a submarine of their own to finally take care of this pesky German Argentine Navy, which is the coastal battleship and destroyer. So that's all for round 9, folks. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for round 10.